He doesn't care if he's refuted. He doesn't care about getting shot down and trapped.
Oh, actually, no, that was dishonest there. That was dishonest there. Notice he cut that one off. That's actually deceptive. Other stuff I just regard as stupid arguments, but right there, the actual point was, notice when I said you got to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. My actual point there is there are certain topics that I know the Muslim population is just not familiar with. Certain things about Muhammad they don't know, right? Your average Muslim doesn't know that there are all these passages in the hadiths that are about semen being all over Muhammad's clothes. And Aisha having to wash it off and scratch it off, and even after that she'd find more on there and stuff, right? Your average Muslim doesn't know that. Your average Muslim doesn't know about Muhammad sucking on the tongues of little boys. Your average Muslim doesn't know about these things, right? So the question is, how do you get... And, years ago I wouldn't have announced this, but I'm to the point where I don't care. I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything I'm thinking. I'll tell you my entire methodology, because I don't believe even if they know what I'm doing, they can stop themselves. So here's the thinking. If you've got these topics, well, there are lots of Muslims who don't watch my videos. There are lots of Muslims who do watch my videos. There are a lot of Muslims who don't watch my videos. So the Muslims who don't watch my videos and don't know the horrible stuff about their prophet that's in their sources, how do you get the information from those books into the minds of those Muslims? If they're not watching us, if they're not reading Sam's articles, if they're not watching me, how do you do it? Well, I'm a tactical genius. So here's what I do. I make a video challenging Muslims to respond to this, and then they go to their apologists and say, David challenged you to respond to this. Can you respond? And then they make a video responding. And what they do is they give their defense, right? They give their defense. So the reason Muhammad had semen all over his clothes was X, Y, and Z. What I was saying in that video that he cut off is, I really don't care about the X, Y, or Z for this sort of first stage here, because my goal right now is to get Muslims to be aware of that. I don't care if they can defend. I don't care if they think, oh, I've got a defense of it, right? I want them to be aware of that. I want them to be aware of Muhammad walking around with semen on his clothes. I want them to know it, right? Once they know it, and once it's common knowledge, and once Muslims are aware of this, then we get into the apologetics. But as far as getting the information across to Muslims, I'm perfectly happy with the Muslims thinking, we have a brilliant defense of why Muhammad was walking around covered in semen. And I haven't watched Farid's video, so I don't know what his response is. I don't know why he thinks was okay for Muhammad to walk around covered in semen. Whatever his response, whatever Farid's response was. I am perfectly happy with him going around saying, ha, I've refuted David on this point. The reason Muhammad was covered in semen is X, Y, and Z. What I'm saying in that clip that he cut off is, I don't care right now. I want Muslims to be aware of the fact, and Farid just told his followers. I'm assuming he did. I'm assuming he gave the sources, or talked about, or went through my point, and then gave his explanation for why that's the case. Well, what was my goal? My goal was getting Muslims to be aware of what their sources say. That was the entire goal. If Farid gave them a defense, I'm perfectly fine with those Muslims walking away thinking, aha, I've got a defense. And how does Farid represent this? Well, David doesn't care if his point's been refuted. Well, I care if my point's been refuted, but as far as my goal there is to get information into the heads of Muslims, information that's been kept from them for centuries, and information which, if you get enough of that information in their heads, is going to cause them to leave Islam. Right? The smartest thing someone like Farid could have done is ignore me, but he didn't ignore me. And now, even if his followers think, I've got a really good explanation of why Muhammad had semen all over him, now they know that Muhammad had semen all over him. And that's what I wanted them to know. So that's the point of that comment. The point of that comment was not, I don't care if I get refuted. My point was, I don't care if a Muslim responds or even gives a good response, because the goal is to get the information into their heads that wasn't there before, so that they can make an informed decision. If they think they've got a good defense of that, more power to them. They can think they've got a good defense of that. But they can't think they have a good defense or a bad defense unless they know the facts. And so that's the goal.